Hello, inflatable fans, I hope you're all well. Got a new boat, bought this for a specific reason. Now you might have seen the Biluta Packraft that I bought, and as much as I like it, it's not really suitable for what I want to use it for due to a lack of tie-out points. Now I could in effect add some D-rings and create tie-out points, but I just can't be faffed, to be honest with you. So I bought another one because I'm going on a bit of a whitewater adventure in next weekend. I'm recording this at the end of February, so end of February, beginning of March, going on a bit of a whitewater adventure, and I wanted something a bit more suitable to that, and I wanted something that was a bit more functional for what I want. So let me show you what I've got. Now what I've got is the Backwoods Expedition 85 Packraft. Comes with this set of instructions, two of these mesh pouches to fit in the side. I'll show you how they work in a bit. There are some repair patches too, and there's the boat in its bag. Now this is a dry bag in its own right, and you can actually use this, thanks to this valve at the bottom, as an inflation bag for inflating the boat, which means what you've got is extremely lightweight and portable. Can't quite remember exactly how much this weighs, but that's me lifting it one-handed. So you've got the craft here. It's made of TPU, and do you know what? It feels really tough. I do really like the feel of this material. It does have a tracking fin mount, which I also really like. There we go, that's the tracking fin mount, and you can insert the fin even with the boat inflated. It inserts really easily. But yeah, I like that. And I think without the tracking fin, because that's protruding, stands a bit proud, it will help with tracking when you actually don't have that in, when you're doing some white water stuff. So I think that could be really useful. Got this nice seat too, inflatable seat, and then you also get another pump, a foot pump option with a nice hose too. So I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty good. Right, let's get this thing inflated. I will show you using the bag and the foot pump. However, I do intend to inflate it, put the most air in it with this little Pumtech pump, which you might have seen me review these before on this channel. Another thing I like about this craft, these are Boston valves, and it does have two chambers, so if you do puncture the main chamber or the floor chamber, at least you should be okay. To inflate it using the bag, what you do is you put the valve in, you unscrew the cap, and then you've got this screw thread on here, and then this attaches to that. The other nice thing about this is when you pop that off, you've got a spare valve just in case one of these breaks. Nice, right? Then you take the screw thread on here and screw it onto here. Then what you do is you trap a load of air in here, roll up the bag and squeeze. And then you repeat that process obviously until the boat's full. The secondary option is this foot pump. Now what I did with this was I squashed it flat so I could squeeze it into the bag, but if you pop that off, you need to, it'll let air in. And all you do is you unplug that, pop your hose in there, other end in the boat, and as you can see that works quite nicely. But I'm too lazy today, so I'm going to use the Pumtech. Right, got the bulk of that inflated. It's not too bad. I am just going to put a little bit more air in with the foot pump. It says here inflate to 0.7 bar or 1 psi. I don't have a pressure gauge with me, but it feels relatively firm but still squidgy. And what I have found is it gets to a certain point with the foot pump where it just doesn't feel like it'll take any more. So for me that's a fair indicator. And then what we've got here is I've just plugged the Pumtech into the floor chamber, and I'm just going to inflate that. I did use the foot pump to inflate the seat. This is such a strong feeling seat. And I'm just going to use the foot pump again just to top that up. So let's have a look at it now it's inflated. I'll just pop the seat out for a minute. So this is the back area of the boat. What you can see here is some Velcro strips, and that's for positioning the seat so the seat doesn't slide around. And then you've got these clasps to lock the seat in place. Now on both sides here you've got two sets of molly webbing which you can slot things in, and this for me is one of those increased functionality aspects I was talking about, because I can slip the camera in there. I think that's quite cool. Handles on both sides. Some strong bungee cord at the front, plus another carry handle. But of course the real bonus to this is how flipping light it is. See what I mean? So on the underside, you've got this raised beam area, which they reckon will improve the tracking without the skegging. But yeah, as you can see, that skeg mounting does stand a little proud, but not too far, only about 1.5 inches. So I reckon it'll be all right in shallow water, this. They say all the seams are welded and taped. And as I say, it just feels really good. Let's get the seat in. I forgot to mention that the seat valves are just these twist lock. So you unscrew it, blow air into it, and as you've got enough air in, you just tighten that up. As I say, really strong and robust. And there's the Velcro lining on the bottom of the seat. I have had this inflated at home and sat in it, and I do feel as though this is going to offer me a lot of good support and comfort. If you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know that I like to use a cushion in my more rigid kayaks because I find the seats are a bit naff. But I don't think I'm going to need anything in this. It's just really nice and soft. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try it without the fin first, and then I'm going to try it with the fin. Just moved over to the phone camera, so there might be a bit of wind noise on the mic. It is a bit breezy today, but I've done it so that I can show you how I've set this up. I was right, I can actually attach the camera quite nicely into the molly webbing, and because the bendy legs have a little nub on the end, it does actually kind of lock that into place quite nicely, and I've just wrapped the other leg around there. Nevertheless, I always leash the camera to the boat. Paddle leash, also attached to the molly webbing. This is one of those little pouches I mentioned. I don't know whether I will use these, but I've put it on just for the purposes of showing you that it does actually fit on quite nicely where it's supposed to. Got my little drinks holder attached. Got my little bum bag in there with a few little knickknacks in there that I might need. And then I've attached a mooring line to the front. And what I have noticed is there isn't somewhere at the back to attach a mooring line to. Right, let's get this on the water. And I'm in. Right, let's go. Hey, do you know what? Even without the fin, this moves quite nicely. Yes, it's a little bit, doesn't track as great as it probably would with the fin, but this isn't bad. What I'll do is I'll just set my watch going in kayak mode, and then we can see kind of what speeds we kind of get to, that kind of thing. So this area that I'm just paddling in now is a lock mooring area for narrow boats and boats that are wanting to go on to the U's where it's tidal. So this isn't particularly, it's quite sheltered here is what I'm trying to say. So I'm now moving out of the mooring basin at the lock where it was quite sheltered onto the open river now, where it will be a bit more open, a bit more exposed, and I will be paddling against the current. One of the things I have noticed about this, which I like already, is as your hands graze the boat when you paddle it, with it having a bigger tube than I'm used to, your hands graze the sides, but there's nothing to catch on. I don't know whether you've ever paddled a boat where it's just the stuff in the way, and when you catch it, it scuffs your knuckles, that kind of stuff. No chances of that happening here, which is good. Something else I've noticed is this. Watch what happens as soon as I stop paddling now. Yeah, the boat just turns and spins in the direction of your last paddle stroke. But it turns nicely on a dime. It's very manoeuvrable, which is also good. So far I'm quite liking this. It is nice and soft on the water. It does feel very comfortable. Moving along quite nicely. There's supposed to be a bit of a northerly wind today, but so far it's dropped out at the minute. And I'm actually paddling towards the north, so I should have the wind in my face, but so far it's not bad. think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera around and paddle kind of hell for leather for a little bit, just to see what kind of speed my watch tells me I'm hitting while I'm going for it. Right, let's do it. Right, it's saying I'm doing about 2.8 miles an hour. So if I slow down and just paddle at kind of normal speed, I'm doing about 2.4 at the minute, 2.3, 2.2. Yeah, so about 2.2 miles an hour, and then almost 3 going hell for leather. Now in the story kayak, can get up to around 4, paddling steady away. And in the ironing board, Cassie and the Brent, they're around 3 to 3.5. So yeah, Raf's always said, these boats, Packrafts, they're not fast boats. And they're not. What I would just add, however, is bear in mind, I haven't got the skeg in. I'm actually quite happy paddling without the skeg for the time being. So on my left we've got Acaster Malbus. Look at that beautiful willow, just starting to come into leaf. It's going to be stunning when it's fully leafed. Plenty of ducks on this stretch of water. There's a couple over there. Just for you, buddy. You know who you are. What I'm going to do is I'm going to paddle just beyond the caravan park, to the edge of the caravan park, turn around, head back. Ooh, I can feel that breeze now. And I'm going to turn around, head back, put the skeg in, and see what it's like with that. See what difference it makes. You can probably tell from the surface of the water that I'm paddling into the wind. You might even be able to hear a little bit on the camera, even though there's a muffler on it. Alright, I've reached the edge of the caravan park. Just stop paddling. It'll spin back round to go in the other direction. A good test of how well a boat tracks, I've found anyway, is to put the camera in hyperlapse, because if the boat tracks quite straight, you get smooth footage, because the camera latches onto a point in the distance, a horizon point, and only the boat moves. However, if the boat doesn't track straight, the camera can't latch onto a horizon point and you get jerky footage. So this next footage you might see might be very short, because I don't want to make you feel sick if it is really bad. I'm going to put the camera in hyperlapse now. Right, I had a quick look at the footage on the view screen on here, and I'm guessing I didn't show you much because it did seem quite jerky. I do feel that it was better than the Biluta footage when I put that in into hyperlapse. I do feel that this tracks straighter. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to swap this out and put the skeg in. I'm going to drag it out of the water, put the skeg in, and then do the same journey. Now, what will happen here is, even though I'm doing the same kind of distance, because I've been messing around with the camera, I won't be messing about with it exactly the same as I did on both trips, so it won't be a true representation of a speed comparison with and without the skeg, but it is more for me, for personal experience, so that I can relay how it feels. Let's do this. This is wonderfully light to lift out of the water. So the skeg does slot in nice and easy. I'm doing this one-handed, and you can see there's that little hole there. I've got that little peg hole there. This peg just fits in, pushes in there. Nice, right? Locks the fin in place. Right, fin attached, back in. I love how easy this is to lug about. And it's also easy enough to get in and out of. Yeah, I can tell straight away this is moving a bit better. Start my watch going again. And now, when I stop paddling, the boat doesn't spin. So that's stopped on the left-hand side. I'm going to stop on the right-hand side. Yeah, it doesn't spin anymore, which is good. Oh, do all right. It is raining a little bit now, which is also good. because we get to find out whether this boat's waterproof or not. So I'm just going to travel roughly the same distance up to the end of the caravan park at Acast and Malbis and back. Pitter-patter, pitter-patter. One of the other reasons I wanted a lightweight boat that packs down as small as this is for car camping trips. And I love the option with this, the fact that you can have it with the skeg or without the skeg, depending on how shallow the water is or how fast flowing perhaps. Okay, I'm going to flip the camera around and do a speed test again. Now we've got the fin in. Right, let's go. What I'll do is I'll paddle fast at first and then I'll do a slower paddle. Somewhat bizarrely, oh, I'm up to 2.9, 3, made it up to 3. And now I'll just slow down and do it a bit more leisurely and see what we kind of cruise at. 2.4. Yeah, it's kind of loitering around the 2.4 miles an hour mark, 2.5. So yeah, just less than walking speed. There is a very noticeable difference between without the skeg and with the skeg when I stop the boat to mess about with the camera. So the boat doesn't spin around, so I am saving time while I am messing about with the camera with the fin in. Right, we're just approaching the caravan park. I'm going to turn around shortly. Right, we're at the edge of the caravan park. Time to turn around. Only this time I have to paddle around because last time, without the skeg, it just turned. Right, let's head back. Okay, it's time to do the hyperlapse test. So let's see if it tracks straighter with the fin in. As I say, the camera will tell us. Let's do it. Just so easy. And there we are out of the water. I've just had a quick look at the hyperlapse footage, and the second footage with the fin in does look smoother, but it's not as good as it would be in one of the drop stitch boats. But yeah, it is better. And there's something else I forgot to mention too. There's a really big measure on that side, and contrary to what you might think, because the measurements go from that side to that side, it's not for measuring the length of your excitement. No, it's for fishing, so you can measure the length of your catch. Nice touch, right? If you're into fishing, that is. Anyway, that's it for me, and that's it for this boat today. Hopefully I'm going to have a great time with this for what I've got planned with it. Yeah, a few things to work out, but I do really like it. If you've got any thoughts, let me know in the comments if you've got one of these and tried it, or yeah, as I say, just let me know your thoughts. You know what to do if you like and enjoy what I do with the whole liking and subscribing thing. I'm not going to bore you to death with that. You take care of yourself. Thanks so much for watching. Cheerio.